Hi, this tutorial is to show how to create, like to put a list of employee IDs in what we call our loading dock on the potential updates tab, so that we could easily filter through that data in our master file, in our master database. When we have like a series of employee identification numbers that we want to filter out, and we don't want to have to search one by one, this is a good method of doing this. So what we would do is we would actually have a file of EINs that we'd want to look for. Um, so we would select the EINs needed from the file that you have, it can email, whatever. And then we go back to our master file here, and in this case here it's version 39X, and we would go here, follow my cursor down to the potential updates tab. This is where we would, in column M here, is where we would paste special values, the EINs that we picked up from the other file. That's step one to do in this file. The second step to be done for this workbook to work, this worksheet to work, is that there's a what we call a footprint area, and that is in the last three columns, and they're in purple. So we need to copy this information, as much as you need. Like I'm not quite sure how many rows we chose, but it was definitely less than 45. So I'm just going to we could overshoot this. It could be as long as it's more, so we capture everything that we have. So that's the first thing. The second thing we need to do: first thing, copy the EINs like we did. Second thing, carry down the footprint from CI, CJ, and CK down to as many rows as you need for the EINs you're looking for. And then the third thing that needs to happen is this formula here you see on row 2 from A to I also needs to be copied down as many times as needed. I'm going to go at 45 like I did with the footprint, and do a control V. So copy that row and then paste it down below. You could see here that this is where our last EIN was showing. If I tab over here, yes, this was our last EIN. So what I'm going to do here, row 36, I'm going to scroll down a little bit to do a bit of cleanup and just delete the data that I don't need. The additional footprint that I had here in the purple columns are gone, as well as the additional formulas not needed here. So now our loading dock, or our potential updates tab, is complete. We're ready to proceed. So then we would go here, follow my cursor to the red tab, the total staff database. That is our master file. These are just a different font here that I use to protect the data that we're working with. So here we would, the first thing we would need to do on this sheet here is we want now to have the EINs that we put on our potential updates tab. We want them to show up in here so that we could filter in this column here in CI. Once we've copied the formula and everything, we could filter in column CI and then select our list of EINs that we've chosen. That's what will show in this column here. And then we'll be able to filter and look at the raw data as we'd like to for those that we've selected. So in order to do that, the first thing we need to do is we don't need to position ourselves in row 4, but row 4 is the row that has formulas. All the other rows do not have formulas. The reason they don't is because it just makes the workbook too heavy, and it keeps calculating, and it does take some time to process. So once we're done with our updates, we eliminate the formulas to clear the workbook to make it a lot lighter. So in this case here, there are no formulas yet, so we do want to make sure that the formulas are extended into the rest of the workbook for this exercise. So the first thing we'll do here is we will copy our formulas. So we've created a button here, so all you'd have to do is click on this button here, and it's going to go and start copying the formulas. But also now, follow my cursor, it's going here to the bottom right, and see, it's going to calculate now, because now there's formulas, there's over 100,000 formulas. So now when it's completed calculating, then we're in a position to come in here, our column CI, and here it lists the EINs that we had here on our potential updates tab. If we scroll to the bottom, and then everything that was not on the potential updates tab shows up here as NA. So we unclick the NA and only filter on the EINs that we want to look at. Click OK. Now again, going down here, it's calculating. So it's going to do that, those calculations, because we have all those formulas that we've copied. And now we're in a position to scroll to the left of the workbook where all our raw data is. And here we can examine. Now we only have the 34 records. Here, if you follow my cursor going down here to the bottom left corner, it shows we have 34 records selected. That is how many, going back to our loading sheet, or the sheet we copied here. These were, again, my cursor down here, now it's to the right, the count is 34. So these are the same EINs here that we picked from this workbook over onto our master file. Once you've completed looking at your EINs and looking at the raw data as you needed to, we'll go back here to our area in column CG, that is Carroll, Georgia. And just to clean up the workbook so it's not heavy, so it doesn't have all those formulas, the thing to do would be to clear the formulas. It won't hurt anything, but it will lighten the workbook and stop calculating for every move or every filter you set. So to do that, we would click on this button, Clear Formulas. And what it will do is it will leave the formulas in the first row of formulas, which is row 4, but it will erase or delete all the other formulas and all the other rows. It's proceeding now, and it finished calculating, and the data is now gone, and now the workbook is lighter, and you can proceed in shutting it down, closing it, or saving it if you made any changes. I hope this helped. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me.